Hey everybody, I'm Scott Wikle. You're listening to My Kind of Country. Thanks for joining me on a Monday night. It's always a pleasure to talk to one of my fellow DJs, and this gentleman is one of my heroes. He is a member of the Academy of Western Artists, Radio Station of the Year, and DJ of the Year. He's in the Cowtown Society Western Music Hall of Fame DJ of the Year. He's won so many great awards and worked with so many great artists, and he plays real country music just like I do. And it's a pleasure to have him on the show tonight, all the way from down in Louisiana. HD Ainsworth. HD, how are you tonight?
I'm doing good, but now, look, I ain't got but $7 in my pocket. I said, don't go over that when you start praising me. Don't go over that $7 limit. And I think you've already got up to about $40. I'm going to owe you some money.
Well, I'll tell you, we can edit that part then. How's that?
I'm doing great, Scott, and I'm a fan of your show, and thank you for those kind words. And talk about a guy that's got awards, that would be you, my brother.
It's just shows that we're doing something right and we're playing music that people want to hear, you know?
Absolutely.
Well, tell me a little bit about your background. You've been in radio for a lot of years, and you're also a retired police officer, and thank you so very much for your service. Give me a little bit of your background.
Well, we come up on a poor folks' cotton farm in Catahoula Parish, Louisiana. My dad, World War II, Normandy Beach landing guy. I've got 5 sisters. We didn't have indoor plumbing. We had the outhouse at the end of a cotton patch turn row. And so, if that sounds like I'm poor-mouthed, then I thank the Lord every day that I came up where I came up and how I came up. It made me appreciate things. And I can remember one of my early memories in 1960, Papa built a new house. He got a loan. He was a VA veteran, so he got a veteran's loan and built us a new house. But I can remember listening to the KWKH radio, the Hayride show was syndicated. I think that was ABC Radio Network, and it was a monologue hookup, of course, back then. And I can actually remember listening to that, and like a lot of the other people, listened to the Grand Ole Opry. And my dad ran heavy equipment and trucks, and so I drove trucks for a bunch of years and doing overnight work. And that kind of steered me around closer to getting behind the microphone, because one of my best friends that died, Billy Cole, he left WSM Radio in Nashville to go to WHO, and Mike Hoyer left to go to work for Buck Owens. And Billy and I were the best of friends. And he took a special interest in me, and he taught me things that I still use in radio today. I've had some other spots, WIOX and KWKH Radio, doing some live radio remote work, and KLGV in Longview. You know, radio, Scott, and I'm preaching to the choir talking to you, but radio is something that people are a little bit interested in, or they're like you and I, they're whole hog about it, you know.
Yeah. You're on KBEF Radio. That's every Monday through Friday at 6 o'clock in the morning, and that's the I-20 Minden Morning Show. You've been doing that for a while now.
I'm going into my 4th year. When I came here, I went to work as a police officer, and I'm not one of those people that said I'm going to be a lawman. I needed a job because I had a new wife. We've been married now for going on the 12th year, and they had an ad in the paper, and I filled out the ad. They hired me. Some of the other applicants couldn't pass drug screens. Can you imagine going to a police station and you got that stuff in your body and they catch it? What they thinking? But at any rate, the police department was good to me for 12 years. I went through the academy. But the first week or two that I was in town, KTKC Radio was a 40,000 watt FM. Mr. Leon Hunt owned it. He owned several stations. And the police chief over there, you know, when you fill out that application, Scott, it says list your hobbies. Well, I put horses, AM, FM radio, and I just let it go. I was just filling out the application. So I worked at night from 5 o'clock at night to 5 o'clock in the morning. And so the police chief said, hey, tomorrow when you get off, and this is like when I initially started my first week, tomorrow morning when you get off, go over to KTKC Radio. You know where that's at? He was talking real fast. I said, yeah, I know where it's at. Be there and don't be late. You're going to do some radio ads for me. I saw it on your application. And the Federal Highway Administrator for the state of Louisiana, they got a grant on senior citizens wearing seat belts and, you know, things like that, proper lighting at your home, safety things, you know. And so there was an old fellow sitting in the corner over there, and I went there. I got off at 5. This lady was supposed to be there at 6 a.m., and she didn't show up. and this was in the wintertime. I sat there with my coat on that bench outside the station, and I was about to freeze to death. Well, but this time I had copped an attitude, you know. She finally showed up, had a cigarette that looked as long as a pencil in her mouth, and that poor dear has since passed on, bless her heart. She became a close friend. We went in there, and she said, have you ever talked on radio before? And I said, a few times. And so she had the computer set. I did the ads, and I started to go, and this guy, I can talk just like Leon Hunt. I'm Leon Hunt. I've got this station and others. I think you got a little radio experience. Would you like to come and work over here for me? Well, at that time, Scott, he was playing that new country, rap country, bro country, whatever you want to call that, sewage garbage. And so I said, I wouldn't play that crap you got. I wouldn't play it for nobody. But if you ever need a country DJ, you call me. And so he pulls a key out of his pocket, and he hands me that key, and I just look at him. And I said, what's that? That's the key to the radio station. I'm hoping you'll cut ads for us, and I'm thinking about changing formats. And I said, you're going to give me a key to your radio station? You don't even know me. He said, my goodness, you are wearing a policeman's uniform. So there began a great association that lasted for many years, and he owned some other stations, and he was getting long in tooth. We're still dear friends. He was mighty good to me. And so the last day, he said, HD, what are you going to play on the last day? I got to thinking about that. And Billy Parker, KBO Radio, he and Jack Fox are two of my best friends, and Billy Parker did that song with the Darryl McCall. You know that song, Scott.
Oh, yeah.
Who's going to sing the last country song. So the entire town, I had another offer, but I went down to KBEF because the guy with the Red River Chevrolet in Bossier City said, go by and see this guy. He needs somebody down there. And I went by and I met with Mark Shireen, the station owner, and I said, I play a little bluegrass, I play honky-tonk country, I play instrumentals, I've got a theme song, I go in and out of the break with instrumentals, and nobody tells me what I got to play, and nobody tells me what I can't play. And so right now, if that don't work for you, I'll respect that, because right now you just got a cup of coffee invested in me. And he said, that's exactly what I need. And so I'm very thankful to Mark Shireen, the station owner, as he helped me rig up this studio with clean feed. And so at 6 o'clock, 5 weekday mornings, I log on, and I'm in here. The other station, the entire town turned out, and they gave me a Civic Radio Award.
So you are definitely carrying on traditional country music. What brought you to country music? What does it for you with real country music?
Well, I can answer that in my own way, and I think you'll understand it. You'll get it. The instrumentation for me is where it's at. The steel guitars, and of course the 5-string banjos on your bluegrass, the steel guitars, the fiddles, the country piano, the kind like Del Wood used to play, and that's what makes it country to me, Scott. I mean, it's got to be country all the way. You got to have a great vocalist. To me, some of the great ones like Hank Thompson and Jim Reeves, they had perfect diction, and they were country. And it's all about the great musicians in our land. And you know, every morning I did that for years down there, and I do it here. I come on with Orange Blossom Special by Gordon Terry, and I've got train horns mixed in it and all of that, you know that. But also, I play a song to salute all the great musicians in our land. And without them, think about it, without them, there really wouldn't be a country song.
Absolutely. Well, you've worked with some great artists. I know we've talked about Freddie Hart, and I know you knew him well. And you were on the Marty Stewart show, too. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, Marty, a longtime friend, and one winter night, and I mean, it was cold, too. And, you know, I worked graveyards most of those years. I worked a few day shifts, but mostly graveyard, and it was on a Friday night. I was going out the door, and Marty called me, and he said, can you be in Nashville Monday night to get a good night's sleep to be on TV at Tuesday morning? And I said, well, I'll tell you what, the police chief was behind me. He had been giving us a briefing on something that he wanted us to do that night. And I said, well, hang on, and I'll ask him. I said, look, Marty Stewart wants me to be there. Can you spare me to go to Nashville to be on television? And he said, television? And Marty said, "Oh yeah, I want you in full uniform." I said, "In full Spring Hill, Louisiana Police Department uniform." He said, "Only if we can get a mention." He came there, and what Marty didn't know, I didn't tell anybody. You know, I'm a commissioned police officer. I was at that time, and legal to carry in all states except you couldn't, you know, on an airplane. Of course, we drove, but I had a 40 cal in my holster that was loaded and had one in the barrel. Nobody asked, and I didn't tell. But we did a little skit with the Tennessee Mafia Jug Boys, and it takes basically a half a day to do a 30-minute show. You've been on some of those shows, and you know how that goes. There was a lady there, and I didn't say a whole lot. I didn't really know what he expected of me, to be honest with you. I really didn't know what he wanted of me. But a lady, when we got through, we came down off the stage, and a lady grabbed me by the hand, an elderly lady. She said, "You look just like a real police officer." Marty has been very good to me down through the years, and one of the big highlights in my life, you know, we've all got our MC spots that we enjoy. Nobody knew that Connie Smith was with Marty Stewart, and in Margaritaville, that's in Bossier City, a casino out over the Red River, and I don't know how to swim, and that comes into prevalence here in a moment, but that part of that stage is out over that river. And so, long story short, he surprised me. I was talking to the boys in the band, and Connie Smith tapped me on the shoulder, and Marty said, "You brought me on before. How about bring Connie Smith on?" Oh, I said, "Absolutely." So I go out there. The crowd didn't know that she was there. The crowd had no idea she was there.
Oh, wow.
I said, "Eddie Stubbs of WSM Radio always said that she's the Rolls Royce of female country singers. I just say to me, in my mind, she's the greatest female country singer on planet Earth. Here's Connie Smith." And I walked towards her. The crowd stood up, and they're all jumping up and down, and that platform goes to shaking out over the Red River. And the Red River is a dangerous river. It's deep. It's got suck holes down in it that would pull you under, and here I am. I can't even swim. And so I handed her that microphone, and I got back across to the other side.
Well, tell me, who are some of your favorite all-time legends, and who are some of the favorite artists that are independent artists of today?
Well, my favorite all-time artist, I guess what I'd say would be Dick Curlis. I never got to meet Dick Curlis. I heard so many stories about him. Dick Curlis, did all of the trucker songs. And, of course, when I drove a truck, I hauled hazmat tanker truck. Dick Curlis played all those songs about trucks. And Dick Curlis walked the walk and talked the talk because he would come to Los Angeles. Larry Scott was on KLAC radio. And Larry told me many times at Christmas time he'd get a phone call from Dick Curlis. And Dick Curlis, if he was up in Bangor, Maine, he would call and say, "Look, I'm going to be flying in for the Christmas show, just letting you know." And he did that on his own nickel. He would come there. Larry had this Phantom 570 club. Truck drivers could get free passes and different discounts on different shows and things. Larry was real good at doing promotions. And Dick Curlis would come every year. But I just like Dick Curlis's voice. Some of my favorites, with me, there's that thing. There's a few songs that I like, and you can't understand the words fully. You would almost have to have a copy of the words. I like an artist that can sing those words, and Bobby Mackey fits that bill. Chuck Cusimano is another one of my favorites. I've got so many favorites, and I know it's unfair to start mentioning names, but Johnny Bush was a dear friend. I was a big fan of Johnny Bush. Justin Trevino and Sharon Kinniston, they got a great album out.
Yeah.
Bringing the duets back. And I love bluegrass music. I got to go up Gary Strong of WOBO Radio in Batavia, Ohio. They got me to come up there to MC the big bluegrass bash that he has. Rhonda Benson. Oh, my goodness, the Grascals, Russell Moore, third time out, and Larry Stevenson and Larry Sparks has become a dear friend of mine, too. And I love bluegrass music, and some of the old-timers in bluegrass, Jimmy Martin, and, of course, Lester Flatt and Earl Scruggs, but all of the above mentioned in the bluegrass field. Western Swing, I've given a title to Jody Nix, and it came to me. I told Billy Bowles of KSSL Radio, our friend Billy Bowles, I said, I like Jody Nix music. And one morning I said, "The Crown Prince of Western Swing, Jody Nix." So Bowles called me up. I had a song playing. And he said, Jody Nix may not want you saying that, calling him that. I said, well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to be doing an interview with him here in a few days, and if he don't like it, I'll apologize to him and never say it again. But Jody Nix didn't have a problem with it, and so Jody Nix is the rest of them, as far as I'm concerned, they're eating trail dust. I'm not. You're kind of going out there when you say that, and I realize that, but I am being honest. He's just a great singer and a great human being, and there's not very many of the people singing Western swing music that actually knew Bob Wills. Not only did Jody Nix know Bob Wills, he played drums at 14 for him. They were close friends, Hoyle Nix and his dad. They had Bob Wills at the Stampede Club. They went on tours and shows with Bob Wills. Jody Nix is the last man standing that was on that recording session in Dallas with Bob Wills.
Well, folks, we're talking to H.D. Ainsworth, and you can catch his show Monday through Friday. And tell us a little more about your show and how folks can tune into that, H.D.
If you just take your mobile device, your telephone or your computer, and you type in KBEF, that's Kilo Bravo Echo Foxtrot, KBEF.com, you let that load up, and you'll see Minden, M-I-N-D-E-N, Minden, Louisiana, free streaming. And you hit that and log in, and if you're going to log in a little early, where if you have a little difficulty, you can survive it. Now, I'm on the FM side, and we stream every show, and my podcasts are on ND Express, November Delta X-Ray Press, like press a button, and you look for the I-20 Minden Morning Show with your old community coffee drinking pal, H.D. Ainsworth. And Scott, do you think you can call Community Coffee down in Baton Rouge and tell them to maybe sponsor me? I've been using their good name for a long time now.
Well, I think we should. That's they should be sponsoring you if you're a loyal consumer of their products, right?
I've consumed. I'll tell you what. This is not to make you laugh. I used to drink a gallon of it overnight. That's the truth. And so if I see him hyper at times, you'll know why. It's not drugs or anything. I never did fool with any of that. It's Community Coffee.
There you go. Hey, whatever works.
And thank you again publicly for helping me secure the T.G. Shepherd record. I can't help myself. What a great song. I've got it thanks to you. I looked for it since 1975.
Absolutely. We'll play that tonight. A lot of people don't know that T.G. Shepherd recorded that song. That was a big hit for the Motown group, the Four Tops. And by gosh, he did a really good version of that song, didn't he?
He did a great version of it. My dad and I used to haul U.S. mail real quickly up and down U.S. 61 through the Mississippi Delta, big old 40-foot trailers, Mack trucks. And we both bought radios because the trucks didn't have radios in them. We bought it at J.C. Penney. It was just a little AM radio. And we installed those things. And we listened to WMC 79. And their thing was WMC 79, the blowtorch of the Mid-South. And they played country music on it back then. And you could hear them all the way down to Lake Village, Arkansas, after you crossed the Mississippi River Bridge in Greenville. And they played it, and I loved it, and I immediately started trying to find it. And, of course, we didn't have all the options that we have now. But thanks to you, I have that now, and actually I played it on my morning show this morning.
Thank you so much for giving me so much of your time today, and I really appreciate you taking time to be on My Kind of Country, HD. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you, Scott. And, I only got $7. I'll get the rest of it to you in the mail.
All right. I'll be waiting for it.
Thank you, buddy.
Folks,
all right, bye-bye.
Folks, that is H.D. Ainsworth, and we are going to play some great music that we just talked about, including that fabulous song from T.G. Shepherd for you as we continue with My Kind of Country. Stay with us.